Hey everyone, Moses from Los Catadores de Agave Tequila Tasting Club in London, and we've got a very special guest today. We've got Gaby Moncada, the Agave Ambassador for Speciality Brands. Hello, Gaby.
Hello, Moses.
How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Super good. Thank you. How about you?
Good. Thanks for joining us today. So we're doing the Agave Chronicles. I'm going to ask you a few questions. To start off with, I know of your journey at Speciality Brands, but what's your journey before that?
So I came here in the year 2000, and actually I was working in a little coffee shop. I then saved enough money to go and travel around the world. I traveled only around Asia and a bit of Europe. Then went back to Mexico because something happened, which was the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Went back to Mexico, but then London was kind of pulling me in again.
Yeah.
I came back again in the year 2000, and that is where I started working in bars. I've met my husband, and I've been living here since then. So this year is my 22nd year. I always been in hospitality.
Okay.
It's more than 10 years working bars and restaurants, and then circa 10 years and a bit working representing Mexican brands.
Nice. And prior to Speciality, what other brands have you been Agave Ambassador for or similar roles?
Yeah, so actually, just before to Specialty Brands, I worked for a little bit for a at that point new importer or
Okay.
distribution company called Proximo.
Okay.
I did had the luck to represent Jose Cuervo, which is
Okay.
the oldest,
The original
exactly, one of the first actual
exports. Yeah.
brands in of tequila, and yeah, I work with them. I learned so many things, and really they shift me to another perspective. No, like sometimes we often think the big brands are that monster when no, there is a lot of also very good people working behind them as well. So yeah.
Nice. And so now at Specialty Brands, you represent all of these brands.
Yeah.
How does it compare to when you have previously represented maybe one or two brands? Now you represent a whole range of quality agave spirit brands.
First of all, what I can tell you as Mexican for me is a pride.
Yeah.
There is always been a pride. Of course, there are amazing brands. There are all of them amazing brands. In this case, we're talking about very small brands.
Yeah.
Some are slightly more known than another ones. Some are tiny, tiny brands. They're very charismatic, all of them. They or made by different people in different areas, using different techniques. And for me, I am their ambassador. So for me, is being. I mean, I of course represent them, but I do feel that I also represent my own country.
Yeah.
And these sort of brands, well made, I think in a way um, they show certain pride of what we actually do in Mexico, what we can do that change the perspective towards a country as well.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I find most interesting, because your role is unique in the sense that you represent so many quality brands, but also you're inherently Mexican. And so, what are your roots with agave spirits, and how did it start? And then, what was the first thing that you remember when you think about your first positive memory about agave spirits?
Well, actually, the positive for me is first of all, I am from where tequila come from.
Yeah.
So I am from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, and well, as Mexican, you grow up drinking tequila. No, you grow up drinking something,
Yeah.
and it could be many things. And in Mexico was a little bit of beer. I mean, beer and tequila, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of whiskey, a little bit of rum. But in my case, with my family, they all drank tequila. So in a way, somehow it's a very familiar taste. And then you speak with my uncles, and they will tell you, no, this is the best tequila. This is the other. This is not good anymore. And somehow there is that familiarity that make you good, not me feel good. Many people in Europe might be drinking wines. Well, we were drinking tequila.
Yeah.
I feel again a lot of pride. Actually, if you ask me, I am more. I lean towards tequila rather than mezcal because again, I grew up drinking more tequila than mezcal. But now having these amazing other agave brands, mezcal, raicillas, it opens your head, no? But the beginning for me was tequila, definitely.
Okay, so typically what we do, we'll taste through a few of the brands.
Sure.
So I'll let you pick. I'll just pick one at the end.
Yeah.
But pick any one of these and kind of we'll smell it and talk about
Of
like what you
course.
think.
Let's get a glass. Yeah. Okay. So, oh caramba. Depending. I mean, because you are already you already know about tequila. Often I will lean to go to start with a more approachable style, and for me, more approachable mean rounder, less spiky notes around, and for me
Reposado
that
type of
is
thing.
yeah. Typically, it could be reposado, but actually I will go always to blancos.
Okay.
Somehow I prefer blancos, but actually I will start with Don Fulano.
Okay.
So let's grab the bottle of Don Fulano Blanco.
Yeah.
Why did I choose this one? Well, first of all, the way that they make this tequila, it is a particular style that they use new technology and they try to do it the old school way. So it is cooked in steam ovens, it is crushed, it is ferment, and then distilled. But the techniques that they use, they try to always sort of adapt the machines to make it like how we used to do it. So they use autoclaves rather than brick ovens. They use a milling machine rather than tajona, but they use a machine that just screw press slightly with the agaves. So, well, I can tell you so many things, but I can tell you as well something that for me is super important, and I think I found it very interesting, or what I think. Perhaps the brand owner or somebody else who knows also about tequila will say, no, Gaby, I don't think so. I think the water that is used to produce this particular tequila will give us a different perspective. I'll explain. This tequila is produced in Tequila Valley.
Okay.
They have natural wells of water. The water is from the volcanic area of the volcano of Tequila. So therefore, that particular water, in my opinion, has a much softer, elegant, rounded, silkier taste and texture, and it is represented over here. So let's have it a try. Of course, you have to think it is an agave spirit. It's potent. It's good for the alcohol by volume only, but it is really, really delicious. It's perhaps one of my favorites.
Okay. So tell us about the notes you're picking up.
You know what? Right now, well, I just had a coffee a few minutes ago, so obviously my palate, in a way, it was awake, but in a very different manner. However, I just taste this, and for me, it gave me the first sip, delicious.
Yeah.
But I found certain salinity or certain minerality that I actually never found before.
Really, I get the cooked agave, the sweetness from that as well.
In the nose, 100% is very cooked
for
agave, very soft. But do you notice that silkiness that I was telling you?
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost oily.
Yeah, definitely. Really, really nice. Great, great Blanco.
Definitely.
And it actually won, what was it?
See, so basically, in Don Fulano, we have 5 expressions. This is Blanco. Then we have Don Fulano Fuerte at 50 alcohol by volume. Don Fulano Fuerte just won an award, one of the best tequilas, or the best tequila of the year, which obviously for us is a pride.
Absolutely.
That is 50 alcohol by volume, while this is 40. So obviously, when we're talking about alcohol by volume in this particular style of tequila, the way that they make it, what they did is they add less water, as well as there are certain tweaks and bits around the process, of course, but it has less water after distillation, which it means is less diluted, so you have more agave flavor. More, everything is just like, tuned up with all the flavors. Yeah.
Nice. And so you interact with a lot of people, some new to agave, some not, some who are quite experienced. What's one common misconception that you get when you're speaking to people about tequila?
Oh, well, I tell you something, Moses, as well. For me, this is a year where everything is changing. If we were in a book, in life, we were turning this page. What is the first misconception is people say, I don't like tequila. Okay, well, maybe you don't like it. That's perfectly okay, but the one is like, we're doing tastings, should I put it in a shot glass? Or you serve them a little bit and then they shoot it straight away, or they ask for lime and salt. Nothing is wrong in reality, but I mean, you wouldn't do the same with a glass of whiskey or with a cognac or armagnac. And again, the shooting as well, that's one of the misconceptions. I think the shooting was marketing, getting involved, let's do volume, while they didn't realize that in the end of the chain, you're just making somebody shooting a spirit. Your body will react against at some point, and obviously your body will say, I don't like this flavor because the way that it got introduced.
Yeah.
So again, the excess and the way that we drink, it is one of the biggest misconceptions.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So let's move on to another
Sí.
one, Gabby. Which one do you pick?
Well, of course, I'll go for Tapatio.
Okay.
Sí.
Which one?
So no, now you choose.
Oh, I'm gonna go for the 110 because.
Okay, your favorite, I can see.
You know what? Because I think one thing, especially people who are quite new to tequila or agave spirits, they don't typically go for the high proofs, and I'm starting to really, really enjoy the high proofs because there's just way more flavor in them, and so I try and push high proof whenever I have the opportunity. That's why.
In a way, when a spirit is well done as well, the alcohol by volume is there because you know it, and it will affect you at the end of the day as how it affects the body.
Yeah.
But yet it's true, the flavor profile is, it goes up and up, and you can do amazing drinks with these particular spirits if they are well done as well. Again, it's just a potency of flavor rather than, it's not about the alcohol, it's about the flavor.
Yeah.
So about this one, so let's smell and try and let's see.
There's some very different nose.
Yes.
Very different nose.
Yeah. It's very funny. I smell them and I do recall myself traveling from, I don't know, let's say from Guadalajara City, traveling on the road, and then you start to feel these aromas from a different towns.
Of course, yeah.
It's amazing. So Tequila Tapatio, another great brand, another Mexican brand, same as Fulano, family owned as well.
Yeah.
They've been in the making of tequilas from before, but actually this tequila is from 1937.
Okay.
It meant that they actually started to make it that long ago. And obviously there are certain things that they have to change, to adapt, because the denomination of origin, the Council Regulatory of Tequila, this particular tequila, there are two versions. I like the version of the UK, of course. When it was first introduced to the UK market, circa 2003, 2004, there was one particular guy who was just bringing very special products to the UK market. Anyway, he managed to bring also Carlos Camarena, which is one of the family, third generation of the Camarena families, producing this tequila. He came, all the bartenders kind of fell in love with him, and he's very charismatic too. And apparently they approached him and asked him, "Hey, Carlos, we love your tequila. Can you make a tequila that has a bit more punch? So when we do drinks, it doesn't get lost in the making, no? Not that any of those will actually get lost, but they want more, as you say.
No? Definitely.
And he said, I think I know what you want. So he went back to the distillery and started to do modifications. And what he did is a slightly different style of tequila. Again, same as Don Fulano. Actually, Don Fulano Fuerte, the one that you were mentioning before, or the one that, we were mentioning before, the high alcohol by volume was actually released before Tapatio, but yet Tapatio also did a lot of noise. What's happened is he did a tequila Tapatio. He started like the normal recipe, which is agaves from the highlands, steam cooked in a brick oven, crushed with a tajona as well as a milling machine, fermenting in a wooden tanks with fibers, and then in the distillation, he will do the first distillation normal, but then the second distillation, he will try to go slightly higher. That is in a pot still.
Yeah.
He will get to 55-ish, and then take that spirit out, leave it to stabilize in stainless steel, and voila. And so it's pretty much still strength. Of course, if there is a slightly more alcohol, you have to water down. But again, it's pretty much still strength, and it's 55 alcohol by volume. So again,
punchy.
Yeah.
Punchy.
The funny part here, Moses, is that if you were going to compare 110 towards Tapatio Blanco, what you have is Tapatio Blanco is more mineral. And this is where the water talk comes back again, because we add water from the highlands of Jalisco, which is a totally different minerality. The water, even though it's filtered, it does tend to have some flavor. So what's happening is you will have some flavor out of the water. And while in Tapatio 110, you don't have it. You will have more the sweetness
Yeah, of course.
of the agave. So
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So you recently, I mean, not recently, but I would say recently in the space, in agave spirit space, people are experimenting more. So people are drinking more mezcal, people are drinking more racias, um, and more sotol as well. And
Yeah.
that's not like a traditional agave spirit, of course, it's not at all, but people can lump it into the same kind of category. How have you found that in your interactions with people when you're speaking about brands like Siete, Mysterios, La Venenosa, Derumbres?
So basically, all the agave, all the agave spirits are all linked together, of course.
Yeah.
And even though, as you mentioned, very rightly so, Sotol is not an agave spirit. It's linked to, because for many years, actually, in Mexico, people thought that the Dasylirion, the plant to make Sotol, was part of the same the same family, until somebody actually came and said, "Hey, you guys are not an agave, so you're not mezcal." But in reality, they are all brothers. I find very funny, Moses, when, and I think, again, this can be very personal as well, when people say that mezcal is the father of tequila. And in reality, mezcal is the brother of tequila, because tequila is a mezcal too.
Yeah.
The only thing is, once you start to use denominations to separate and everything, that's when somebody said, so mezcal, no, tequila is no mezcal anymore, it's just tequila. But in reality, they brothers. So everything is linked together, everything. And again, it's a denomination of origin from Mexico. Is Mexican, first of all, and they have a really back history that link them in the end of the day. No, it is a pride that should represent a country. If you go, I'm gonna give this example to the north of Mexico, kind of particularly kind of Chihuahua and Durango and places in the north. They will tend to say, or even Sonora, they will say, no, it's Bacanora, it's Sotol. But you go to Central and no, it's tequila and also whiskey and rum. But you go to the South, it's mezcal. So everything actually represents Mexico. The only thing is, we hear more about tequila, but in reality, they are all amazing. Of course, tequila makes more as well.
Yeah.
But they are all amazing, and they are all linked, definitely. They're brothers.
So there has been kind of a rise in, I would say, small batch mezcals that are being made. Some of those brands that are producing very, very limited bottles, and literally in the houses of some of the mezcaleros, right? What do you find about that? How interesting is that for you in terms of seeing the rise of that coming from Mexico?
I think it's amazing, and you know what? I will be very honest. I feel not ashamed, but like I feel like we could have done more, but again, we don't have a future and past sort of crystal balls to tell us what's going to happen. I grew up in the era of tequila being in the rise. We have to all think on a situation. No? Tequila is the first denomination to Mexico, so everybody was very proud of tequila. I grew up in an era where we saw those small producers producing that small quantity of mezcales, and our parents saying, no, if you go to a bar, if you go to somebody's house or whatever, don't drink that, have tequila. And then you forgot about those little brands. What I can see right now, in a way, is very funny, that I feel that is thanks to that we didn't hear about them, that they never got famous or
the
popular.
Recognition, that they probably should have had.
Nowadays, we are in the era where we are looking for the small brands. We are putting attention into how stuff is being made, our food, our ingredients, and I think it's thanks to that actually they never got popular. That now we hear about them and like, look, still untouched. This is what these guys are drinking. In there without the need of us to touch it. They've been doing it, and this is great. One of those big examples, I feel, will be La Venenosa and the Rumbes. Also, Siete Misterios for sure. But in reality, these guys are trying to showcase something that is untouched in every single way. No, like there is no water added. There is nothing like I tweak this recipe because no, this is how it is. This is what they've been drinking for years and years, generation through generation, and perhaps hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned La Venenosa,
See?
which is a Raicilla, right?
Yes.
Tell us about the kind of, because Raicillas have come across relatively recently, I would say, in the last, at least in the UK specifically, I would say in the last maybe couple of years that I've started to see them more frequently here.
100%.
How has that journey been, and how have you been kind of having the conversations with people when you're speaking to them about Raicillas, and how is it being received in market?
You know what? I'm very lucky to work along with the brand owners as well, and they're very straightforward with us. And what's happened is, sorry,
No, yeah, yeah.
and what's happened is they actually very straightforward and tell you this. And basically, they tell you, in this case, per se Esteban from La Venenosa, he mentioned something like, it is not about denomination of origin, but it is, no? What is a raicilla in reality is a mezcal by definition, not by denomination. What we're trying to say with this is it is a mezcal.
Yeah.
But we cannot call it mezcal. But it is.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, because again, it's a small category within a small category, raicilla in a way should, because it is more expensive only for transportation.
Because it's way more limited as well, no?
Limitations, exactly. We make very little of it. I'm gonna give you this example. Over here we have La Venenosa Puntas, which is a particular style as well, right? So this is a stainless steel, steel strength. This is 61.2 alcohol by volume. So already we're talking about that is a very high point on the second distillation on the kind of a heart, the highest alcohol by volume that you get in the heart. And then what we have over here is the number of bottles that were created for that batch. And they only did 400 bottles.
Crazy.
This is bottle number 150. And voila.
And that's for the world, right?
Yes.
Crazy.
See, apparently right now La Venenosa is sold in 30 countries around the world, but yet it is diminutive. Yeah, it's beautiful again. So yes, it is a mezcal, but again, this is the era of education. I think this is where my job and many other ambassadors' job is so important. What you do as well is great. You are trying to teach people about something that you are very passionate, no? But because you want them to understand it, you have this. You are very keen for people to understand something that people don't get it, and I think these guys are doing a very similar thing in their way. But again, what it is a mezcal that we cannot call mezcal. It has a lot of back history. Perhaps some of the first mezcales produced in Mexico, yet we don't have the denomination of origin, and then they just kind of fighting to get a denomination called raicilla. But again, it is a mezcal made right now. They've kind of putting it into two states, the state of Jalisco and Nayarit. This is 100% from Jalisco.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I found, so I came to the tequila mezcal show, and obviously you were on Raicillas that day, right?
We were I was in the Raicilla stand.
And so you gave us a bit of a flight. And one thing that stood out to me about Raicilla is, at least compared to traditional mezcals and tequila, they were great in my mind for pairings with food. Like I got a lot of the very kind of culinary, and you get that in some of the others, but I got it way more in the Raicillas. Can you talk more about that?
It's very funny. I can tell you many things. Every time I try an actual new brand as well, there is something so into food, as you mentioned, almost like if it's in wine, but again, the flavors are much deeper. So in the case of raicilla, each raicilla is made by different producer in different place, different water source, different agave, different everything. So obviously they all have a particular touch. Do you want to try?
Yeah, let's see.
So, as I said, obviously it's higher strength in alcohol. So be careful the first sip particularly. Yet it's very funny. It's so well made that the alcohol by volume is almost gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, unless you really never drank spirits, you will feel it. But it's so well done.
So what notes do you immediately pick up, and then what do you taste?
This is something unbelievable that if I describe it, it will sound weird. For me, this tastes like violet, pine, or the little pines that you, or pine nuts or something that
Okay.
you get from the pine.
Yeah, yeah.
Juniper. So it's more like a gin,
Gin. Yeah.
but it's very sweet.
Yeah.
Again, the alcohol by volume
It doesn't. No, it doesn't drink
no.
61%.
Yeah.
At least not to me.
It
No.
is made in the state of Jalisco, in kind of in the mountains, by a gentleman called Gerardo Peña,
Okay.
and basically they call him the wolf of the mountain, so el lobo de la sierra. Actually, this particular style will be we will finish this, and then he doesn't want to make anymore.
Oh, wow.
He wants to concentrate on other things. He's
Okay.
a sort of artist, no?
Okay.
Like I did that.
Okay.
I finished
he's
my
done with that. Okay.
So if you ever encounter a bottle, I'll recommend you to buy it.
Okay.
It's worth it to keep it and to drink it. It is
Yeah.
made by an agave called Maximiliana.
Okay.
Maximiliana has this personality as an agave. It doesn't grow by hijuelo. You have to let some agave Maximiliana to die to give you the seeds.
Oh, wow.
So you collect them. The guys collect them. Then they will put them into pots. They will grow them in a greenhouse until they grow the size of a grapefruit, and to then replant in the wild.
Yeah.
No. It's an amazing job, and this guy is a geek. No, if you talk to people, they're like they will say, El Lobo is so intelligent. He goes travel, learn from other producers. I mean, it is an amazing guy.
That's crazy.
And the product is amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, as a Mexican, you have been exposed to so many different styles of cocktails and drinks that you've had.
Yes.
What is your favorite?
Ooh la la! You know what? One day I tried a beautiful cocktail that is, the classic cocktail called Clover Club.
No.
So it's basically a gin sour.
Okay.
The original calls for raspberry syrup instead of sugar.
Okay.
And then obviously the evolution of cocktails and all, people it's been putting instead of lemon they use lime, and then they use fresh raspberries. Okay. And raspberry has this particular sharpness, almost acidity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I've tried that with one of the La Venenosa from Costa. Costa is almost like a green mango, and at the same time is oregano, and there is some saltiness from almost like a olive brine. So imagine a Clover Club that I just mentioned, sharp, straightforward. I don't know, too many flavors around, but they are all very straight. Yeah. And then you put this raicilla that
just froze everything.
No, the drink was so delicious. So yes, try.
Where did you first have it?
I actually it was this bar in Soho. I forgot the name of the bar. Okay. I will tell you.
Yeah, please do. And in terms of food, so how do you typically what do you think are like really good agave pairings with food, or what are the ones that you've really enjoyed, even if it's just at home that you've made for yourself?
In general, I will I tell you one of my favorites as well in this range. They're all my favorite. I cannot say that I have one, but one day I did a food pairing with derrumbes, because derrumbes for me calls me to make people understand that it's so different. I have to tell them, look, for me, this tastes like this. So what I did is, first of all, we need to understand the brand. The brand is 7 different expressions. In the UK, we have 6 because one just got released, so hopefully we will have it. But basically, each color represents a different state, but also the color kind of calls you for what it tastes like. So in this case, you have Durango, Zacatecas, San Luis Potosí, but we also have one from Oaxaca, from Michoacán, and another one which is an agave spirit, so no mezcal, from Tamaulipas. What I did is a tasting where Durango, for me, tastes like peach yogurt.
Wow, okay.
So it's creamy, it's fruity, those sort of stone fruit. So what I did is a cracker. In Mexico, it's sort of you go to a house and then so as a snack, you will have different things, right? Yeah. But I remember my mom used to do this sort of crackers. We call them Ritz. I'm not
Okay.
sure if they exist
Yeah,
over
Ritz,
here.
yeah.
See, which are sort of sweet,
Kind
and
of
then they have
salty.
salty.
Yeah.
And then on top is like cream cheese,
Okay.
Philadelphia, kind
Yeah.
of. And then they put like an apricot jam
Oh,
on
wow.
top. So then that mix for me was delicious. I grew up with it, and then sesame seeds, right? And for me, I did that pairing. No, Zacatecas for me it tastes like again batch to batch it changes slightly. For me, they use different wood to cook the agave. So for me, it was very meaty, like almost like you are barbecuing something and it smelled like that.
Yeah.
So for me, like a jerk chicken or jerk meat, the one that they sell.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Then San Luis Potosí is very kind of a LL flower jalapeno. I did a very sharp, slightly spicy guacamole, no, with a totopo.
Okay.
Then we have the Rumbes Oaxaca, which for me tastes like a sweet chili.
Okay.
Like there is chili, there is sweetness. So for me, because there is agave espadín and agave tobala, so I did a rice cracker with, the sweet chili that you put in rice crackers, like a Thai chili.
Yeah.
So that, no? No, I mean, you can do so many things. No? Again, you can do long drinks as well.
Yeah.
Many of these people who actually produce their own spirits, they will have it in long drinks. They tend not to have, they shoot it for sure. They drink it. I mean, like in a shot glass. Not that they shoot it. They will drink it straight, but also they will have it in long drinks. So think Paloma, think Batanga style. Also the water. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean these are very versatile spirits. You can drink them by itself. You can mix them up. You can have it after dinner. I mean, the world is yours there.
So last question.
Sí.
You have a great brand here, Siete Misterios.
Yes.
Great. It's just aesthetically beautiful branding, right, in terms of the look. But one thing that I've started to see more and more is Pechuga mezcals.
Yes.
Talk to me about Pechugas, because it's very unique, right, in terms of how it's made, and they're a bit more they're higher in price, obviously, as you'd expect. But yeah, talk to me about Pechuga.
And funny enough, many people actually think that we start to make Pechuga, we as a Mexico, just because gimmick, no, like it's just marketing. They're trying to do these sort of things, but no, what they've been doing recently is change slightly the recipes. But Pechuga is a style of distillation. So what it is often third distillation of mezcal. What it is Pechuga, in our case, for Los Siete Misterios, it is a mezcal made of agave espadín that it was twice distilled, and then they run a third distillation. Let me tell you about our recipe, just so you know a little bit, because I think it's super interesting. Siete Misterios is a collection of different mezcales only from the state of Oaxaca, while the Rumbes is from different states of Mexico. But Oaxaca has many different varieties of agaves, many different producers and places, altitudes, styles, and everything. So in Los Siete Misterios, we have this one we call Dovallej or Dovallej, and it's basically a mezcal 100% agave espadín. This is the one that we sell the most and the one that we promote as a house, and the one where we put a little bit of effort to push it. So we have 3 producers, and these 3 producers, we never mix them up. So you will have 3 producers producing Dovallej, but you will have in the bottle, it will tell you that is different. One of those guys who produce this particular Dovallej is 2 brothers, and then they have their mom. Their mom is also very much involved in the distillation. The mom of these two brothers with the mom of the brand owners, which is Julio and Eduardo Mestre, Angeles, she actually goes with the mom of these 2 guys, and then they go, okay, so we're ready to do our batch of this year's Pechuga, and they go to the market, and then they go around, and they're like, okay, so right now is the season of apricots and some other fruits, name it, no? And then put star anise, and then we have cloves, and then they will actually choose whatever ingredients they want to put into their distillation, and they take it to the distillery, where they will run a third distillation on that particular dovay age. They run the third distillation. Basically, it's a pot still in the neck of the bottle of the still. They will actually hang a turkey breast with no feathers, no nothing. It's just the meat, and then inside of the liquid, a basket with those ingredients. Every year, that recipe change. They make, I don't know,
So it's
depends,
seasonal.
seasonal, and
Wow.
the
Okay.
recipe is secret, and every year it will be different.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's berries, and sometimes it's apples, and yeah. So then they run that third distillation. They cut heads and tails, and they just keep the heart, and the heart will come up to slightly higher alcohol by volume than what it was originally, of course. We will talk about that late 40s, 50s even. They will take that cut and they will put it on the side without dilution, without nothing, and then they just put it in the bottle and voila.
Wow.
Sometimes we're talking about 100 bottles each batch
course,
and things like that, and it's amazing.
Great. It's been a pleasure, Gaby. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Moses.
And hopefully we can see more of the bottles in all of their bars and shops in London.
Certainly. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, let's keep drinking these amazing spirits.
Yes.